listening to the Mountainside Podcast, and joining us back in studio for this episode is my good friend, Ryan Maguire. He's an adventure athlete, primitive survival instructor, ultra runner, world record holder. Ryan's connection with nature is truly unbelievable. I always enjoy having him in here. We definitely went down some deep dives during this episode. He's a great dude. Enjoy our conversation. Should we just dive right into it?
Let's do it.
Cheers, brother. Oh, you know what I got to do? I got to do this barefoot. I think I've done a podcast barefoot maybe before, but you just stroll in here barefoot, like up these stairs with wooden nails and all kinds of crazy shit sticking out of them.
Yeah, funny story. My girlfriend, we went like on our second date at Evergreen Lake, you know, because I told you when I was like a little tiny kid, I lived just above where we were.
Right. You were over here yesterday crushing it too, right?
Yeah, we were training here yesterday as well. I love this area. It's like very nostalgic for me.
So badass.
And she's a real sweet Texas girl, but she likes to follow the rules, right? And so the first time we went paddleboarding, then walked around the lake, and I didn't wear shoes. And then we came up here into the coffee shop, and I walked in without my shoes on. And she had never seen anything like that before. And she was like, what is this guy doing? You know,
right?
Like totally struck. But now she's used to it, and she just doesn't even ask questions when I don't wear shoes.
She's a nice girl.
She's awesome.
Super cool. That was cool that day you guys just dropped in. I love it when people just drop in. If I'm around, you know, it's like,
I was like, we got to see if Bobby's here.
I feel like some people are like scared to come by, like to bug me or something. I'm like, no, man, like if I have you on the podcast, you are a friend of mine. Like,
For sure.
Welcome to the fucking community. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I want to hang out with you. You know? So.
I think there's probably some people who take like podcasting like ultra fucking serious.
Okay.
And like, I don't know, maybe that's it. But like, I'll bring people mid-episode into a show during mine. I don't care. It's like,
dude, it doesn't matter, man. It's like
chat.
Whatever you want to do. That's the whole point of this. I think it is I was just talking with Marissa Lynn about this, who we just recorded with. And we were talking about all of our gripes about social media and Instagram and Facebook and, you know, all the other platforms that are out there. There's so many now. But I really feel like podcasting, and you can attest to this because the way that you do your podcast is so badass, man. I think like it's a relaxing environment. It's great conversation. I'm a fan. So, and thanks for having me on. Of
course.
Dude, that was rad. I had the best time with you that day. But I think it is the podcasting, to take it back to that, is like the truest form of social media because there is no filters. There are no... on the audio side, now when you upload to YouTube, it gets a little bit crazy. There is no like censorship, right? So you can drop as many F-bombs as you want. You can get as crazy as you want. I mean, like some of the podcasts that I've listened to where the shit that they're doing and the shit that they're saying and the stuff that they're talking about, like I feel it's where somebody can be truly authentic and not have to worry about it getting censored.
I think that's both of our shows. Like the Mountainside does a great job, I think, largely in that. It's just like fireside chat style, right? It's not like it's not like you're not archetyping this to like steer it in a certain direction. In mine, the premise is wild, right? Like who the wild things are. It's supposed to be like a conversation that's unpredictable and could go any way. I had a good example. One time I had Roland Welker on, who was this guy that was on Alone. And is a wild boy. And it was a live episode. So I know my mom was listening. And at one point, he starts telling a story about him eating his own dogs to stay alive.
Oh, shit.
And
really?
I'm like, bro, this is the most wild thing in the world. Like, I'm talking to this crazy-ass dude, and it's live in front of all these people. And homie is talking about eating his dogs on the air. And I'm like, this couldn't happen anywhere else.
Right.
Like, people would go berserk. But podcasting, you get to just, you know.
That's wild, dude. Like, what was it?
He was...
I don't know if I could do it. I don't know if I have the heart, man. I have a hard time killing deer and elk.
Yeah.
And not getting emotional, but like, I just lost a dog this week, unfortunately. We had to put him down, but he's 15, you know? Like,
okay.
In a good life, yeah. But it's like, fuck, dude. Like, I've said this multiple times. Like, dogs are just that true, unconditional love. Like, they love to... Good dogs, I guess. I'm sure that there's some out there that have eaten their owners, but if you die, they're going to eat you within a couple days, right? Once they run out of kibble or whatever in the bowl. Like,
I've heard that about cats. I heard dogs will wait. I don't know if any of that's true, but this is like the growing theory. I think the context, to add a little context to that story, because that was very like clickbaity that I just said that.
Right. No, go and listen to the episode. I'm going to
go and listen to the episode. But I think he was an Alaskan trapper and shit got rough.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave it there. But like, it was his last option.
Wow.
Kind of situation.
That's crazy.
So
well, of course, yeah, it was probably.
Anyways, that's a very weird tangent. What'd you and Bobby talk about? Eating dogs.
Yeah. Dude, I'm pretty sure I've eaten dog before. You
Really?
get down like south of the equator, you never know, man.
Never know.
It could be pedo asada, is what we used to call it. It's
Yeah.
like, God, this chicken tastes a little funny,
That's funny.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think I could do it.
We're thinking actually about going down. This is one of the things I wanted to talk to you about. So full in on being a wild boy, right? Full-time creating wilderness content, taking people on courses.
Rad, dude.
And part of the hard part with this is the seasonality, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like very hard to get people in Colorado out into the bush. So we're looking at kind of like what you were saying, like south of the border and opening
in
up.
the summers, man.
Yeah, anytime. And we're looking at Nicaragua, this small fishing village. So we're going to start offering, hopefully, retreats down there next year. And it's basically going to be, survival skills and spear fishing, underwater free diving, foraging in the jungle, all that kind of stuff. So now we get to have the mountain environment here where we can go in and talk about some of those courses that we have that I think they're among the most unique, cool courses in the world, but they're in a short window. So now we're going to try and expand those down south. And
You should, man. Like one of the best tours I ever did was, part of it was because of the crew. And I wasn't even a huge fan of their music, but the Killers, touring with them for like 2 or 3 years. And we were doing these festivals all over the world. We went to like every major continent, but they were just like, fuck it, we're going to do it our way. We're going to do it relaxed. And most of those festivals are like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday type deal. So we would have like 4 days off during the week. It was a roadie's dream, right? To have that sort of schedule because you work 3 or 4 days and then you have 4 days off. And typically you're in a resort. And the band was really big about going and experiencing national parks, even if we were like in Puerto Rico or going on a safari or something in Africa and just doing cool shit. I was like always an option on their dime too a lot of the times, which was super awesome, right? And then if you didn't want to go on that, you could stay in a resort or the hotel, whatever they had picked, which are nice spots. Typically it was a resort with like, I remember being in Greece and like just yachts parked out like in the bay, dude. It was insane. Like people had to take dinghies into this particular resort. I was like, how in the fuck did we work that? How did I work this out, right?
Yeah.
And then we're flying on like charter jets and all that sort of stuff. But the biggest thing that was the coolest thing about that is we were south of the equator in the winter months and north of it, in our winter months. So it's endless summers, man. And it's just like that whole, have you ever seen the surf film Endless Summer? Mm-mm. Oh, you should check it out. It's awesome. It's about these guys. I think it's probably like 1950s, 1960s.
Okay.
And they're just living in the summers for like multiple years at a time. And they documented it all, like kind of surf style, surf culture, and just staying south of the equator and north of it to chase the season.
Yeah. This, and that'll probably be largely part of the retreats we do down there too, because this town, it's called Playa Gigante, which is like a little tiny fishing village. 800 people live there.
Really?
Super remote, which, fits our vibe. I'm going to go down there for the first time in probably about a week and check out spots and try and find out where we want to settle on it. But it's known for its fishing and its surfing. And when I heard that, I kind of hinted on my Instagram a little bit about this earlier, but this, if you've heard other episodes, I like to occasionally do crazy like endurance shit. And the next one's going to be down there. And this is the premise. It's called 100 Wild Miles. So the first day, I will basically have nothing. I'll start on this little rocky alcove, and I'll go spearfish. And whatever I can catch, I can then smoke that, eat it along my journey. And that and foraging will be my only food the entire time. There will be no support. Water will only...
No hunting?
Well, the hunting regulations are a little hard. The hunting is going to be essentially underwater hunting to start, right?
Sure.
And then I'm going to take that fish that I catch on the first day. I'll probably make some into fish head stew to like have fat content, and then the rest of it I'll smoke on like a primitive smoker. And then I'll carry that with me during the 100 miles. I'll forage fruit along the way, and I'll run from Playa Gigante in Nicaragua all the way into Costa Rica, and finish at like a big waterfall, like epic swimming hole.
Badass.
So that's what's being dreamed up right now. So we're kind of in the early stages of working on that.
That's rad. Are you gonna buy a place down there or lease? Because like I know like some of those countries like Mexico, you don't actually buy property unless you're a citizen of Mexico, I think.
Yeah, so
it's
Mexico,
like 100-year lease or
99-year lease.
99 years.
It's kind of amazing, actually. And this will surprise people, I think, about me. But the way I did this was through ChatGPT. So for months and months, I've been trying to figure out where the right place is. And we were looking at southern Mexico and Costa Rica. Both those places have a lot of regulations. They're harder for foreigners to own land. They're more expensive. There's all these things. And I basically just put these stipulations, just like brain vomited it into ChatGPT, and it got me to this tiny fishing island village that I've never heard of in my life, that no one knows about, called Playa Gigante.
Sorry, I'm going to slow you down here real quick. What did you do? Just prompt it with what criteria you wanted? Or
Yeah, so I told it everything about me. Like, it knows about Wild Ride Outdoors. It knows about who the wild things are. It knows about me trying to spread and create this movement, right, about natural living. Like, it understands the deeper process.
It retains that information?
All of it.
What?
Yes, it knows everything about it, and it'll put spins on things that I don't know. And then I put all these things in there.
Is that in the database? Like, if I go and ask it about
it won't know mine.
Okay.
No.
So okay, so I got a million questions.
It's so weird.
Because I'm fascinated. We use it here at the podcast to make chapters and stuff for like the YouTube, like mindless shit that you don't want to do. Like mindless it goes through and listens to the audio file and it'll break it up into chapters.
Oh, good idea.
To what we talked about. And then you just prompt it to add timestamps.
Oh.
Now all your videos have chapters. And then you can also, it puts it into Google search engines. So like say you and I are talking about wild 100-milers in Nicaragua, it'll break that up. And so if you Google search that, now our video will be the first one to pop up.
Wow.
So
you got a big old brain on you, Bobby.
No, man, this is all shit that like I've learned from other people or paid other people to help me with or tried to figure it out. There's a ton of AI programs out there now for YouTube, like for titling, and it's crazy. So I kind of put one foot in and one foot out. Like
I'm the same. I'm still trying to figure it out. But specifically like with this project, I've been fucking blown away.
That's wild, man.
I could have never got to this answer, and it's the right answer. But like, that level of research to get to a small, tiny village where no one speaks English, and you can't even like on maps, like you can't even like hit directions to there because like the roads don't right. It's like
really,
it's like very small, and it's growing, but it's not like going to Cozumel or like Cancun or any of like.
Dude, that is badass, man. Because I don't feel like, me personally, just in what I've used it, and I'm probably not using it properly because it scares the shit out of me, one.
Terrifying.
I just don't think it's there. Like, even when it transcribes something for us or transcribes the episodes, I still have to go in and make corrections on like spelling of names. And some of the guests that I have on are like huge people. Like a couple episodes ago, we just had Cody Lostro in, who is like arguably one of the best bull riders of all time, right? Like at least in the top 3 of all time.
GOAT status,
right? Like world champion status, rookie of the year, like just fucking title after title. And it spelt his name wrong, and this is somebody that, like, if you Google him,
it's everywhere.
It's like hundreds of pages of all kinds of stuff. So I'm like, how does it not pick that up? Maybe it's my speech is messed up. Maybe it's the Colorado accent. I don't know that we really have one, but some people do on the Western Slope. But I'm curious. So I got to ask this real quick before I forget. So when you say it learned everything about you, are there different platforms to use ChatGPT? And then does it save you like a login or something? Because I don't think mine does. I think I'm just using like the free version of it. Mm-hmm. And then I use this other version for the podcast called the Script that's specifically like for podcasting AI.
So Nicole uses Descript. She produces a podcast as well.
Yeah.
Not my pod. And they use Descript. So I can ask her. I can connect you guys on that. I don't know how to use that platform. She's like an expert in it.
I think everything that I'm using Descript for, but I'm wondering more like when you said it learned everything about you and you told it everything, how did it retain that information, or did you do it all in one sitting?
Yeah. So stepping back just a second.
Yeah.
I've been like really diving in and like trying to build my life's passion. Like I've always kind of had this business and like done all these things, but I feel like I never really fully gave it. And now I'm like super dialed. Like I am going all in to make my dreams a reality, and I'm not going to let anything stop me. And previous versions of me,
So rad, dude. Burn the boats, right?
Yeah. I texted one of my mentors today because he was like, you need to burn the boats. And I texted him today. I was like, you're right. I need to burn the boats and just, it's about as uncomfortable feeling as you can imagine, because I'm trying to do something that like really doesn't exist this way. And it's like hard to put your finger on what it is, but it feels like it has a spirit and it feels like it's living. And
Well, it sounds like we had you in at the perfect time.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Like a way to promote it, man. Like fucking let's go, dude. This is badass.
And so my roommate, he's been talking about this new version of chat. You pay whatever the monthly fee is, and apparently it's much better. And since I've been using that, I can tell a difference. I feel like it used to be kind of dumb. Like I would ask it about like time, like splits getting up mountains, like, running, and it would just like get math wrong. And I'm like, I feel like math should be like automatic. I feel like in the 90s, like there was calculators that were automatic.
Yeah.
I don't know, that it just like kind of shocked me how it was struggling. And then I got this new version and it's freaky.
Really?
It's so smart.
I would guess once you go to the paid version, you have to have like a login and stuff. So it retains that information there then.
You can have a login on the free one too.
Okay.
But your memory is limited to like so many characters. So it can only remember like, let's say 30 things about you, and you can go in and delete things that it remembers about you to free up space to remember other more important things. You can go in and edit that. But then once you get the free one, it's just like every third message you send it probably says updated memory, updated memory, updated memory. And it's just logging all of this.
That's so crazy.
And it is so weird because I'm trying to get people rewilded, take them back into nature, create these beautiful, And it's like,
I get it, dude.
To get there, I have to
why not, man? Like
AI.
I was very anti-AI, anti-this, anti-that, just for that very fact is like here at the mountainside, not as much as you. Like I'm all about the connection to nature and all that sort of stuff. But it's almost like if you don't get on board, you're gonna be left behind at some point. Like you have to have some sort of knowledge, and why not use it to your advantage? Like if it's out there and everybody's using it, why not use it to your advantage like you just did, man? Mm-hmm. Like why not? It's almost like having an assistant or an employee or a researcher, or like it's all those things.
Yeah, I heard Rogan talking about this with comedy. It's like you can choose to be Dave Attell or you can be Andrew Schulz. Dave Attell, amazing comic.
Incredible.
Has a flip phone. No one knows who he is. He's your favorite comic's favorite comic, but nobody outside of comedy knows who he is. Then there's Andrew Schulz, who's an amazing comic, and he has every bit as much notoriety as he deserves because he figured out how to do social media during the pandemic and like really capture audiences that way. And it's like, you kind of have those two options. Do I want to be David Tell or do I want to be Andrew Schulz? Ultimately, if my mission in life, and I believe this is my mission in life, is to connect people with nature and create radical health change and radical reconnection with the natural world, the highest level of impact I can do that by is by playing the game in front of me. And the game in front of me requires me to do some of these things. Donnie, great example, right?
Oh, incredible, yeah.
He figured out how to do TikTok. Very simple, played the game that was in front of him. His impact 10x'd, maybe 1,000x'd, right?
Probably 1,000. And then it just transponds to those other platforms too. And this all happened in a shorter period of time. Like the podcast is 5 years old. I've known Donnie for about 5 years now. I think you've known him a little bit longer probably, huh?
Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I just look at where he and I started and then our growth helping each other, but definitely his is exponential because of that, like the content that he was creating, the way he was putting himself out there. He was doing something different than anybody else has ever done, right? Like, Can you make a battle axe? Yes, I can. You know, like those videos are
and
so
the
badass.
consistency.
Yes.
Like that, like to just, he's just so consistent. And that's what it takes to play that game.
Yeah.
And yeah, so.
Incredible dude, by the way. Shout out.
Shout out Donnie. Very, very talented guy.
Incredible. And just fun to be around. Like no matter whether you're on film or whatever, it's
drinking
like
a beer.
Yeah, some people like turn off those cameras and they're a completely different person. You know what I mean? Or they don't. I don't know. He's just salt of the earth, dude. Good dude.
It's always weird as a podcast host when someone's different on camera. You ever notice?
Right.
I don't like it. It's like,
or they like put on their radio voice. That's the one that always.
Bobby.
Yeah. It's like that's Most of the guests that I have on have never done that. I don't think, but I know for a fact that, and this is diving deep into the podcast game, and I think this is probably the 221st episode now or something like that, right? So, dude. Like,
congratulations! How amazing is that? Like,
it's badass. Dude.
220 episodes. Amazing.
I never thought we'd make it to like 50. You know? I mean,
incredible.
50 seemed like so long. Now it's like I don't even care. I'm not even counting. It's more about just the human experience, like who I want to have on these sort of conversations. But I know for a fact, and maybe it's because I'm trying to do this in my best version of myself. So like this morning I got up and did a 3-mile run / hike with some elevation just because I wanted to come in here and be on my game. I do the podcast fasted now.
Nice.
Which is big, whether it's even if it's at midnight. It's like I can fucking wait to eat till, tomorrow morning or whatever it is, because it makes me sharper cognitively. But there's also a level of cognition that happens when you put on these headphones and you speak into a mic. Like you're more thought out in your speech, but also like locking yourself in this room where there's no distractions. Like you don't have a cell phone like buzzing. You don't have a waiter walking up and asking you if you want more iced tea or whatever it is, right? It's just like you're more locked into the conversation, I think.
Yeah, and there's do you know who Naval Ravikant is?
No, like you have to enlighten me on that.
It's like a modern day philosopher. I think he's one of the smartest thinkers out there.
Probably using AI.
Yeah, he's like AI. He's like a
nice.
Angel investor. Very different world, but he is very into timeless wisdom. And one thing he says is it's really important to write and speak things because you then have to connect all the words together versus when you're just thinking about something. Like maybe my thought sounds like maybe Nicaragua, spearfishing, cool, fun. Now, if I say that to you, I've got to dictate it in a way that's like cohesive, and I have to like string all those words together and actually cement the idea that I'm trying to say. Because it's not necessarily, you're not thinking in really long, full thought out sentences.
Yeah,
you're kind of like grabbing onto these little thoughts, and then when you write or speak it, it's got to be cohesive. So
yeah, no, and I think not putting a time limitation on it, right? Because if you're just like always in a rush, you don't have time to really like think it out or pause or enunciate the way to express it the way that you want to, right? Like it's so key. Like the best way for me to memorize something is to write it down, like physically write it down, like not type it into my phone, not put it in my app. I use this app called Day One, which is fucking amazing. And they're not a sponsor of the podcast, but it's just like a journal. And it's infinite journals, and it keeps it over time. You can add photos. It does locations, weather, like all this shit. But it's incredible, man.
Is it AI yet?
I bet you they have a version of it.
I'm sure they're working on it.
Yeah. But you can do like text to speech. You can put audio files. I mean, it's crazy. It's a badass thing. It's like $30 a year. And then if you want to look it up on your laptop or your phone or your tablet or whatever, it's everywhere, right? Very cool. But still, I have to write shit down on paper. Like my weekly like punch list of just like kind of what I get done, and I hate making these, but like sometimes, and as busy as I have been, it's like to keep everything in order, I have to have a calendar and I have to have that punch list that I start with. And it's just like every Monday, and then I'll revisit it normally every morning, just like, okay, where am I at? Oh, I fucking forgot to do that. But if I write it down, I normally don't have to look at that list. If I physically like write it down,
Interesting.
it's just there, and it's like, oh shit, I notice that I get the task done faster, or I get it. It's more like on the forefront of my brain or something, or that there's more drive to. I think I just remember it better.
What's your flow for the podcast? Like, are you're just doing like one a week and getting, are you just like hitting people up and getting guests scheduled way out? How does your flow work?
It's insane. When you and I started talking yesterday, I was literally just reaching out to you to be like, hey, how's it going, man?
It was really crazy timing because this is the one time I've been gone. Just got back from bear hunting.
Okay.
Before that, I was on a private client. And then
Nice.
I'm leaving. I have a wedding this weekend, following weekend, Costa Rica, Tennessee. It's literally, I was like, I can do it tomorrow morning.
Right.
And worked perfect.
No, it worked out great. This is awesome, man. I'm glad we're doing it. But it's kind of like on the fly like that. Like, my guests are so busy, like you just explained. Like, I don't ever hold anybody to it, or if they tell me like, no, it's not like, oh, you're dead to me, or like, it's only this one opportunity. Like, it's truly my friends that are on the show, right? Like, whether we hang out here at the podcast studio or outside of it, I still want to hang out with them. Yeah, and it helps to have them. And I try, my goal, bare minimum, is to release 50 episodes a year, one a week. So I might have 2 weeks that I take off there. Some weeks I might drop 2, right? So, but I try like to be consistent. And then with that, we're breaking up some other content. So like parts of the podcast that I find interesting or whoever's helping me edit finds interesting, and we make those into shorts. So we typically do like 3 shorts, and we've had a ton of success with that because people are just taking in content in short form. And it's been really fun making those. And we've had some options to make those in AI. And I've just turned it down. I'm like, no, creatively, I don't care if this takes an hour.
Yeah.
But like adding the B-roll and really portraying the guest and like what they're into is like, there's an art form in that. So that's been fun for me. It's like a new creative spin on podcasting.
It's hard for AI to replicate taste. Like the things you're saying, I don't think it I don't think it can do it. I don't think it has taste yet.
I don't think it can pick up
It's just like that mindless
emotion or passion.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just like ordered thinking it's good at. Like if I give it parameters for a beach town that's very small and it like has this population, has this price point, and it can like work inside of parameters. But like if you're like, give me a vibe, I want the audience to feel this. Like it doesn't have that.
No. I hope it never does.
I hope it never does too.
Yeah. I hope it never does. It's going to ruin relationships. Because people love, I think that's one thing about like Instagram and stuff is like people love to see affirmation for what they think that they know or what they're doing. And I think that happens in Instagram with like the algorithms and stuff. It just kind of shows you like if you like girls farming in white t-shirts, you know, it's going to show you that constantly or whatever it is, right?
My Instagram's thirsty as hell, and I just constantly click not interested.
Okay.
And it's like, it's always trying to spit me some thirsty ass video of some girl, and I'm like, not interested. And it's just like,
but it never stops. If you put down that you're a male,
I heard you have to change to female.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe I'll do that, but I don't know what that means like for like.
Then you have to identify as it.
The only
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
No, but what's crazy is when we're podcasting, I notice my phone sits here and listens, and my Google feed, my Instagram feed, like no matter what we're talking about, if we're talking about testosterone replacement, next thing I know, I'm getting ads for like TRT this, TRT that.
You're about to get Nicaraguan real estate pages after this.
Yeah, no joke. Or spearfishing.
Spearfishing,
right? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Or AI. It's probably gonna send me a bunch of ads for ChatGPT 4.5 or whatever the latest version is, right?
Right.
Yeah. No, it's insane. It's a weird world that we're living in. But I think the moment that it has some sort of emotion or passion, I think people are just going to dive right into that, and that'll be their new partners or soulmates or whatever it is, because it's going to tell you whatever you want to make you happy.
Yeah. And in my opinion, right, there's like a supply and demand curve for the things that we talk about, like when we talk about nature connection, hunting, things like this. And as the supply goes down, it's going to be higher on the demand curve, right? So there's going to be less and less people doing crazy wilderness stuff, but the demand for it is going to be very high because it's going to be so rare. It's going to be so unique to flint nap or to go on an elk hunt in the mountains, right? As this stuff continues to work into obscurity, it's going to be that much more valuable.
1,000%. I mean, that's exactly why I do it today. Is like elk hunting, even though I'm doing it with a compound bow and a Garmin GPS system and a fucking, you know, all the badass hunting gear and all that sort of stuff. It's still one of the hardest things that I face every year, and it's humbling and it makes me appreciate stuff. And I think people will still go into nature. I think what's going to happen is the people that are sedentary and that have a hard time getting out and a hard time leaving their gaming console or social media or whatever, I think that there's going to be probably some really, really drastic health issues that come along with that.
100%.
We all know that, right? Like being sedentary is the worst thing for you. Like you look at all the, I guess fitness is another big thing that's on my algorithm feed. It's like just people lifting weights and topless girls, right? Or girls that aren't topless, but like showing nipples, right?
Right. To just being, yeah.
Right. Just because maybe it tracks where you're at. Like maybe it's the time that I spend at the gym or the time that I spend outside or whatever it is. But the one that I see the most is like the hump in your neck, right? Because people are like looking at their screens and they're like bent over, like typing is not a natural posture that your body should be in, right? Because you're like automatically hunched over. Your shoulders aren't meant to be like that.
Internal rotation of the shoulders.
Yeah, so you start to create all these shoulder issues and like back issues and thoracic issues and all this sort of shit. So I think the more that evolves, and then I know that I have astigmatism from looking at screens. My eye doctor told me that. He's like, from looking at screens, that's why your vision's going. And it's like, fuck, man, that's crazy to me. Now I can't hunt as well because, so I think people are going to realize like, fuck, this is literally killing me, or doesn't make me feel good. And nature always makes me feel good. Even if you're just going for a walk, or even if you're not able body and able to walk, to sit on a river in a fucking chair, so relaxing. Or to sit by a campfire. Mm-hmm. Like those natural things makes you feel amazing.
The thing you said right there that I want to double click on was the eyesight thing.
Yeah.
So I have a theory, and I think some people believe this is backed by some kind of science. I think we have the worst vision ever. Like I don't, like most health problems we've engineered ourselves like away from. We've generally lived longer and healthier lives as long as you take care of yourself. Eyesight is not that thing. Every year it seems like a higher and higher percentage of people who normally had great vision need more and more glasses as they get into that 40, 50-year-old range. And I think it's from long distance gazing. Because when you live outside, for example, last weekend we were in the Wind River Range bear hunting. And most of what my eyes are taking in is like 1 to 2 miles out, sometimes 5 miles, sometimes 500 yards. But I'm almost like, unless I'm like looking at a weapon or eating, I'm not ever looking like right here in my lap. Everything is like looking way, way out. And so like now we spend all of our time focused. The furthest we look is about 6 feet.
3 feet. In
our box, right? The poster on the wall. That's like a gaze for us when it used to be 6 miles. And so I think your body is just adapting to your environment. And that's why it's so hard to see over time, because you're not working those long distance gazing muscles.
Wow.
Could be total bullshit. That's my theory.
No, it is. And if you think about it, like when you're looking in your lap, you're still kind of in that like hunched over thing. If you're looking at the horizon, you know, your head is up. You want to be as tall as you can. You want to be as tall as you can so you have the highest vantage point to see as far as you can.
Totally. Funny story about that, since you just kind of walked into it. The bear hunt we had last week, we saw this.
Black bears?
Spring black bear hunt, Wyoming.
Nice.
Tough hunt, man. Very tough hunt. Bears are ghosts, right? Like they're hard to find. And first day, we end up glassing. My buddy Hunter caught him, and it was a sow with 2 cubs. Then we weren't sure. It almost looked like there was another bear, but it was hard to tell if it was just the sow that had kind of walked around. So anyways, it's like 2 miles out, and we pick up our camp, walk over there, and we're like, okay, let's see if we can get over there by nightfall, make a play. We get over there. We're still pretty far away, and it's kind of hard to see the bear. We can't see the cubs anymore. Obviously, you can't shoot a sow with dependent cubs, so you have to be very careful.
Against the regulations, honestly. Yeah.
Against the regulations, and also you can't shoot a grizzly bear. So you need a positive ID, and you need to make sure that it's not a sow that has dependent cubs. A sow is a female bear. So we're over there, and we're like, we're not sure if it's sow, and also, why is this black bear so fat? Like, it was brown, but like black bears can be kind of jet black. They can be gray. They can be brown. They have different color phases
like
in their
cinnamon
fur.
color or whatever, yeah.
And I'm like, dude, that might be a grizzly bear. And this is the furthest, like the Wind River Range is kind of the south portion of the grizzly range. So there are grizzlies, but they're pretty rare. And it's a federal offense to kill a grizzly bear. Like it's a big deal. A guy just got fined $10,000 for accidentally killing a grizzly bear. And so I'm like, it might be a grizzly bear. And Hunter, my buddy, he's like, I think that's the sow that has cubs. Both of us feel conflicted about making a move on it and shooting it for totally different reasons. And we end up not making a play on it, walk home empty-handed, but both felt like we did the right thing. And I was like, him and I were talking, and he was like, man, we're like looking at these videos that we got through the binoculars that kind of look like they were taken on a toaster, so they're not very like, they're pixelated and whatnot. And he's like, what do you think? Do you think it was this, that? I'm like, I still think it could have been a grizzly. And then I was like, ChatGPT. I take these photos that are pretty pixelated, and I say, tell me if this is a grizzly bear or a black bear. Gave it the location, and I said, give me a confidence interval, and then tell me why that's your confidence interval. And it said 80% that was a grizzly bear.
Really?
80%. So I'm like, damn, I'm really glad we didn't try to shoot that.
No joke.
And I think if we would have gotten closer and like gotten position to
not
make
only
a
is
kill,
it a federal offense, you will lose your hunting privileges for life.
Yeah, and you'll get bad PR too. Like it's killing a grizzly bear. I'm not sure it's all warranted, but the backlash is unbelievable. So, anyways, that was a funny story. We were talking about
that's
gazing
crazy,
from,
man.
from far away.
Hunting with AI.
Yeah,
it's crazy. But why not use it to your advantage? Like that made, like if you would have done that in the moment, that would have made you a bit more of a logical decision. What if you did pull the trigger? Like what if you did shoot?
I had no service, so I had no way of like doing any of that. And
I know, and now we have Starlink.
That's the thing.
Yeah, pretty soon you're gonna have it. Or you could have it.
We have where we teach for Wild Ride Outdoors. We teach in partnership with this school called the Survival University in Southern Colorado.
Yeah.
And,
Jason Marstein was actually our very first guest on this.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I just
Shout
talked
out.
to Jason
I got to get
yesterday.
Jason back in.
He'll come on.
Yeah.
So Jason and I are business partners. We run courses down there, and we have this very unique property. It's called Chapman Ranch. Thousands and thousands of acres of protected land that we get to use. Super epic place. And it's really one of the best parts of the courses I get to offer is like just bringing people to the land and showing them this like ancient, it's actually a migration path for animals, and it used to be a migration path for the natives that live there. And it still has absolutely no service. None. Like even on the way there, you lose service. There's nowhere you can get it, and it's amazing. And Nicole and I always talk about like that day's coming to an end.
It's already at an end. Like if you had a Starlink there, all you need is a clear view of the sky, and you're fucking hooked up to high-speed internet.
And I'm like, then we're going to have to logically and like enforce no internet much stricter, like with ourselves. Like everywhere we now, like you still go in the backcountry, and for the most part, you lose signal, and it's great. But like sometimes you get service, and you're just like, oh,
damn it.
Damn it.
Yeah, I know. Especially if your phone starts like buzzing or any of that sort of shit. I just turn it off. I have the inReach because I need to communicate. A lot of times I'm going solo, but I always need to communicate with the family. And it's not so much them knowing I'm okay. It's that I'm knowing that they're okay.
For sure.
You know, and I had a family member pass when I was up elk hunting. I was like fucking 7 miles deep, above tree line. And I got that message. So, man, thank God I had that. That was the first year I had the inReach. I was like, God, man, I can't believe I got this thing. It was totally unfortunate.
Do you have
but
PTSD from that? I have like bush bad news PTSD. Like every time I come out, I get scared for like, I don't know, first couple hours, and I like don't want to look because
I've never really thought about it.
All right, well, I just fucked up your experience.
Yeah. The worst part about that is like that family member. I mean, it's a super long story, and he was supposed to be with us on the elk hunt because I hunt elk as typically with a family, and he was considering coming out and didn't. And yeah, it was a bummer, man. It's hard. It's hard to get that information out there, but I mean, like, my point is, thank God I had that, so I knew, so I could come back and support my family and be there, and like, so I think that there's like levels to it, right? Like, you are gonna have to like self-govern, and like, the new iPhone, I think, has satellite texting on it, so you don't even need the inReach anymore.
Oh, whoa!
I'm pretty sure it has like the latest iPhone. You can satellite text just like you can from your Garmin.
Whoa.
Which will then be an iMessage, so then basically you can text anywhere you want in the world. If you're in the middle of the fucking ocean and you have a clear view of the sky, you can text, I'm pretty sure. But then Starlink's also talking about like making a cell phone.
Oh, really?
So it won't be cellular, it'll be a sat phone.
It's so funny to watch all these people hate Elon Musk. I think this thing is so
insane,
funny,
dude.
I don't mean to be political. But
At one point, it was like virtual signaling to buy a Tesla and be like, now they're fucking burning down the dealerships, dude. It's ironic, man. I'm like, what? It's crazy how fast a coin will flip, you know, like where people just choose sides and they put a line in the sand. And it's crazy because that's probably the most amount of hate that we get on the podcast is somebody that is like just so heels dug in and they don't like what we're talking about or having an open conversation. But like everybody that I know, like firsthand, is not like that.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Family members, fucking, I mean, they may really believe or be really, really conservative or very, very liberal. And I have both sides of the spectrum, but they're not like so dug in that they won't listen to your opinion or my opinion on hunting or mountain lion hunting or, you know, it's so crazy. And it's crazy that we're fucking voting on wildlife policy too, which blows me away.
That doesn't make any sense.
Dude, what are we doing? We are literally throwing science and everything out the window, including, I'm sure ChatGPT would make a more logical decision on biology and science than a human being would.
Here's what's crazy is you can make it argue against itself.
What?
Yeah. And like next step is like agentics, which means like there's going to be agents, AI agents specifically designed for certain tasks. So you could make one like a hunting regulation agent, and they can talk amongst themselves and iterate over 1 million times and create solutions that are like 100 billion times more thought through. It's going to go absolutely.
We're going to be governed by it pretty soon.
But,
or if we're not already, because you can't tell me that this technology hasn't been around already, and it's not taking statistics and probability and predictions in wars and like all that sort of stuff. Like, do you read any of Jack Carr?
Yeah, I think I have read some Jack Carr a while back.
I forget exactly which book it was in, but there was this one of his entire novels, which is fiction, but like Jack is so good, man. Because sometimes you don't know if like what he's writing is fiction or shit that actually happened in 9/11 or like real life experience that he had as an operator, or he heard third party through his podcast. And it's like, so he mixes, like he's dancing around like it's all fiction writing.
Sure.
But you don't really know, you know? But like there's this quantum computer named Alice in one of those books. This is a spoiler alert. And just like the type of shit that was going on in that book was like frightening. Frightening. Like it was basically his Overwatch. It was everything. It was like an angel. And then she like falls in love with the actual main character. Oh. Like kind of in this like, and believes what he stood in. So then she starts being biased to like other people. It's like, I don't know, man.
She knew what he liked from his Instagram algorithm.
Probably. Probably.
There's a similar series called the Tracker series.
Okay.
Which feels that vibe. I don't know if you've read that, but
do you know the author's name?
No, but he is he's basically worked in the government as like the lead of Fallout. So if there is a nuclear fallout, if there is a national food shortage, if basically the country goes to shit, they have a guy who is an advisor on what that will look like.
Okay.
That was his job.
I think I know who this is.
So that was his job, and then he wrote this series called Tracker Series, and funny enough, guess where it takes place? Estes, Colorado. Literally in Estes, they talk about going to Empire. They talk about like, going down the pass. It's like all these places that I know really well. And
is it Tracker?
Tracker Series.
Oh no, that's Trackers. That's like a TV show or something.
Jeffrey Deaver, maybe that's his name.
Okay, this is probably.
Oh, the crossbow is one of the characters' things, so that's got to be them.
Okay.
I don't know if that's a crossbow, but. I think this is it.
Is this it? Okay.
I don't know if there's like a summary anywhere.
It's all just Amazon taking over the world.
Oh, there it is. Marcus Colton and Sam Raven Spears. So it's called Trackers.
So cool. It's a dual author. Oh no, that one was just forwarded by Bradley.
And I got this. I got the one that's all of them combined. So you can just read through it like one book, and it's.
I'll have to check these out. I haven't heard of these.
Yeah, pretty good.
Huge fan of Jack Carr though. Like, if you're not checking out the Mountainside Podcast on YouTube, you absolutely should be. If you like the content that we create here and you want to help support the podcast, please take a moment, subscribe to us on YouTube, and hit that notification bell. I'm a guy not to read fiction. Like, I just don't.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they've held my attention for a while.
Nice.
I think it's because it's nice when you read like a Jack Carr or like Trackers, something that feels like, okay, this is kind of stuff that I think about. And I kind of want to like visualize in my head. Like, you know me, I don't teach like end of the world survival. Like I teach like nature-based connection survival. But like I definitely want to like visualize if that shit was to happen.
Oh yeah, dude, my favorite way to take in an audiobook, when I say I read, I'm taking in 90% audiobooks. Like occasionally I'll get sent a book to read or something, and there's no audio version, but I'm going to Audible and looking for that audio version, right?
Yeah.
And the times that I do it is when I'm laying in bed and eyes closed, But if you add a little mushrooms or smoke a joint to that, bro, your visual it's like
insane.
It's so incredible, dude. It's like one of my favorite things to do to decompress, and especially if it's like fiction or like a biography or something, like you can really feel what that maybe felt like, or it's crazy, man. It's so much better than just watching something on TV, I think.
For sure. Yeah, I do. I read just before bed every night, right before I fall asleep. But, sometimes that's not great because I get like, maybe I read 3 pages and then I pass out. And then I come back and I have to read the last 3 pages.
I do the same thing, yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. I haven't tried audiobooks on mushrooms. I can't really do weed. It doesn't react well for me.
It doesn't for me either. The only time I can do it is when I'm like literally going to bed like by myself. I don't like fucking being paranoid. I don't
it's just not the vibe.
No. And I mean, there's a time and a place. Like I've done it before on tour buses because you're fucking like literally trapped on a submarine. It's like, dude, like, we got a 14-hour bus ride. Like I got to figure out a way to sleep, or I got to figure out a way to like kind of get through this. And then mushrooms, I'm not like full in on a psychedelic experience. Like that's not what I'm using them for. I'm using them as microdosing. So like, and I just dibble dabble around it, and it's just made me be more present, relaxed. My favorite time to take it is before jiu-jitsu or a workout or a hike or something, because you'll notice little things like colors or hanging out with my kids, like just a microdose. Because
it's amazing.
You don't feel high at all. I don't feel like I can't operate my car. I can't go into the grocery store and ask for something. Like everything cognitively, it might even elevate my cognition.
You're more present.
Definitely more present. I'm not thinking as much about the outside world, and I could give less of a fuck about if the mortgage is paid or whatever, right? But just like the little things, the first time I really, really noticed it is me and my daughter were on the deck last summer, and I think she was like catching bugs or something. We just outside, just hanging out at home on the deck. And we just started checking out different insects and like really checking them out. And then we got like, we're taking photos of them with the iPhone to like blow them up and really look at them. And then we started looking at the colors, and I was like, ding, this is because I microdosed like an hour before my run.
Yep.
And I'm like just in the zone and had the most enjoyable time. And I don't think you have to microdose to have that same sort of time. So there's times where I catch myself and I'm just like, dude, why am I so uptight? I don't need a microdose. I just need to remember that moment of being like, oh, be present. Like enjoy this hummingbird on the water or whatever it is, right? Like it just makes life better, dude.
It does. I haven't actually used that many microdoses lately, but there are times where I'll use it more often. And you're right, like you don't need it. I always say like fasting in like a primitive wilderness setting will get you further than any psychedelic trip. Like you can hit those same RPMs in different settings, but sometimes in the modern world, it's hard to like reconnect and not be anxious and not think about the mortgage. So maybe this is just like one of those nature-made tools that allows us to reconnect. And it's absolutely preposterous that you can go to the corner store at 11 a.m. and buy a bottle of Jack Daniels, and you cannot take a microdose, from it. It's like the most ass backwards rules that you've ever heard of that are totally outdated and make no sense. They're not grounded in any science. It's the opposite of science. And yeah, it's hilarious.
I don't think you can make the same amount. What it boils down to, I think, this is just my opinion, is it's all money driven, right? Like you can't make that much money on a fucking microdose of mushrooms. Like you can't make as much as you can on a bottle of Jack Daniels, and then it's like all the marketing and like
they're cheap to make.
Dude, it is just alcohol, and I mean, we have it all sitting here.
Nothing wrong if you want to drink. I'm not hating on drinking.
No, but it is literal poison.
For sure.
I never feel like after tracking my sleep and with this Garmin watch and using technology to help you be a better person or feel better and actually like trying to like, am I recovered or am I not? Or like, what am I doing here? Hands down. And this is across the board. Anybody I know, the moment that you have one drink, it fucks up your sleep.
That's unbelievable.
Horrible. And then as I got a few years on you, but like as you get older, man, it's like I need even more recovery. And it's just like, why, if I'm putting in so much effort into trying to be connected and take those microdoses and go to the gym and work out, this is just a setback.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if you have 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 drinks, now I'm going to eat a slice of pizza, or I'm going to fucking, you know, do shit that I normally wouldn't do.
For sure. Yeah, and you don't get any of those side effects from mushrooms. It's kind of unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's like basically there was a weird period when our grandparents were, our age, and some people did weird things on acid. Most of it's a lie. Some people did some weird things on mushrooms. Most of it's a lie. And basically they just banned it all. Like Nixon was just like, it's all bad. Like, get rid of it all. And
yeah,
it's just so misunderstood. And it's cool that we can talk about it now. Like, we're in a different world where, like, when I was growing up, if you and I were talking publicly for thousands of people to hear us talk about using mushrooms, people would be like, you talked about what? Yeah. Like, it would be like a really weird thing. And now it's just like totally different.
It is. But to your point, you should be able to go down to the gas station and buy a microdose or
grow them at your house. Yeah. Grow them at your house,
Pretty fucking easy.
Even to me, and this is a subjective thing, so I'm sure not everyone feels this way, but it's like the fact that cannabis got there before mushrooms is a little weird to me. Just because I think cannabis has more side effects, and I think it has a higher percentage of negative psychological consequences. Like, I've never seen someone have a bad time on a microdose of mushrooms. I've never seen it.
I've seen people have bad trips on mushrooms before, but
if you take a lot.
But a microdose is not, there's nothing psychedelic about it.
Yeah, it's people kind of blur the line sometimes. They say microdose and they take kind of like a macro, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I did that the other night when I went to go see Sublime, because I just had people in town. I was like, I never go to concerts. I'm at Red Rocks.
Let's go.
I was like, I took the equivalent of like 4 microdoses. That's all I took with me. But I was like, just in case.
Yeah.
And by the first 2 songs, dude, I was like, fucking give me them all.
All of them.
And I had the best time.
Yeah.
But I wasn't like seeing light trails or fucking, it was almost like having 3 or 4 drinks. It was just like, just in a good mood, good moment, good music. Like,
I like calling that the museum dose, where you take like maybe like 0.8 of a gram and you're like, oh, I'm definitely high. But if I was at a museum, I wouldn't be like weird or outlandish. I could still walk through a museum. Everything would just be like really fucking cool.
Yeah.
That's like,
it makes you appreciate things more.
This art is like amazing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, man, I think it's a gateway to some form of happiness. And I think I can argue that no matter what headspace you're in, it'll reset you a little bit. It does for me.
Yeah, and
it makes my stress levels drop drastically, and that's another thing I can see on my watch.
Yeah,
because this thing has like a stress meter. Is that a Garmin watch?
Yeah, it's a Garmin.
Yeah, so you know how it's a little fucking stress meter or whatever, and I don't really watch this stuff. Occasionally I'll look at it, but as it tracks your blood pressure and what you've eaten and like all the shit, right? It's tracking your vitals.
Oh, cool.
So it'll give you like a stress meter at the end of the day, just like it gives you like this body, battery, and like all this sort of shit based on like your recovery and sleep. But one of them is stress. So like if I've had a stressful day, I'll look at it occasionally and it's like fucking, over half of my day has been stressful. Oof. Like when I'm dealing with rock stars, right? Like, oof. And you don't realize it.
That's such a flex. Yeah, when I'm dealing with rock stars.
That fucking shit is stressful, man. Sure. They're a pain in the ass, like it's a crazy environment. There's shit going on all around you. We're talking like semi-loads of equipment and stuff is moving fast and people get hurt and like it's just, the world is just like fucking on fire around you, dude. It's like constant.
This just sounds like my worst nightmare. What you're talking about right now sounds like my
And then
wasteland.
you have to deal with crowds and other stuff like that. So there's a heightened sense of awareness when you're in one of those sort of environments, you know? So it's like you're constantly for 16 hours a day, you're just stimulated, right? But if you take a microdose, you can literally watch it drop off like a cliff.
Yeah. You just focus
Because
on
you just
task at
don't,
hand and
yeah,
everything
you
else
don't
is
care
whatever.
as much, or you enjoy things a little bit more. And I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Like I've tracked it for that very reason, which is crazy that we're living in this world where you can track, how does my high affect me, or how does this affect me, or that? Like everything's gotten so, it's so like, you can really diet it in now. Like your diet, like some of these apps and like checking preservatives and food and like just all kinds of crazy shit. Like all you have to do is scan a barcode. And there's some apps out there that will tell you literally every chemical, every dye, and shit that's not even listed on the actual ingredients, right? Which is pretty insane.
I remember seeing this graph that was like aggregate damage caused by drugs and substance. And it basically had everything from acid, alcohol, weed, mushrooms, Percocets, right? All on this list. And it was combining data from like incarcerations, deaths, negative health benefits, like things you're talking about, and basically aggregated it and gave all these things a scale, like a score. The worst thing was heroin, number one. And there's
just go to San Francisco.
There's maybe 50 things on the x-axis. So heroin's one. Number two is alcohol. And then
I'm sure.
I think there was, maybe 50 things. Number 50 was psilocybin mushrooms in terms of negative impacts, negative consequences.
Wow.
Like there are psychological breaks that happen, right? People have like bad trips on high doses of mushrooms, definitely is a thing. But in terms of like aggregate misfortune that occurs compared to all other substances, I mean, it's not even close to alcohol. That like based on this data,
alcohol,
it's not even a conversation.
Like, and that's another thing when I say it comes down to money making, like I'd be curious to see, how much revenue is created in the court system on DUIs, which is probably the most probable ticket you're ever going to get in your life, right? Like short of a speeding ticket. Like everybody gets a speeding ticket. But I would bet fucking, like if you asked all your friends firsthand if you've had a DUI, I would bet 8 out of 10 of them would probably tell you, yeah, or have you driven drunk? Like that's a whole nother thing. Like you don't even have to have a DUI. Have you driven drunk before? I can raise my hand multiple times. I'm not proud of it, right? Like shit happens and you make stupid decisions, obviously, but like think about all the revenue that's created from that with lawyers and courts and jails and fucking, I mean, you get a DUI, you're looking at like 10, 15 grand now, I would guess, by the time you pay a lawyer and go through the court system. And then, they're going to send you to some sort of classes and then you got to go get your driver's license again. It's like, there's revenue that's created off of that. And that's just one thing. Then you start adding in domestic violence, fucking, just bad decisions like
car accident death, right?
Fights in bars, dude. Like the worst place to be is at a UFC event where everybody's drinking and the beer stands open. Like you're gonna see fights outside of the octagon. Yeah. Like every time I've been.
Really?
Every time.
Everybody's like, I'm tough.
To the point where it's like, I'll just watch that shit at home, dude. Like, unless my friends are fighting or they're doing something, like the couple that I've been to, like, and you end up watching the screen anyways, because I'm not like sitting ringside. And even the announcers like Rogan and them, they're watching fucking monitors.
Yeah, it is true. I went to, I was lucky enough to have a friend take me to the Sphere for the Sean O'Malley fight.
Dude, you went to the UFC at the Sphere?
Yeah.
Oh my God. We got to talk about this, dude. Subject change.
Left turn.
Wow. I worked on that a little bit.
Cool.
So the Eagles were in there and we were doing some lighting stuff there for the Eagles and the UFC. But that was the first televised event that they did at the Sphere, right?
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah. So that's like, they spent so much money on that.
I remember like months and months out, like when they just started, Dana was like, yeah, I spent $3 million this week. Like,
okay, to be transparent, you don't have to tell us. Did you microdose before the
yeah, I took mushrooms there.
You did? Badass.
Yeah, I took mushrooms. I also drank alcohol. So it's I'm not.
Here we go.
I'm not saying like
You want some nicotine?
I'm good.
Okay.
I'm not saying I'm like a prude or anything. I think responsible drug use is good for adults.
Yes.
And I think like people should have personal sovereignty. If you want to drink.
Dude, one of my favorite things is to sit down and like have a whiskey with somebody when I'm talking. In here.
Yeah, we had a whiskey the first time we recorded. We had and I liked it. What was it? It was
I don't know. We've had
the one that Rogan talks
so
about.
many. Oh, Buffalo Trace.
Buffalo Trace.
It's so good you can't even find it anymore.
And
well, I think
since then,
that's
I've
like when
looked for it because I'm like, this is good stuff.
Yeah, when Rogan talks about something, it normally
just gone.
is gone, dude. Like, yeah. Good problems to have. But okay, so UFC at the Sphere. I was actually going to go. I have some friends that do production work for the UFC.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of had like an in, and I was like, I would have even bought a ticket, but I just wasn't available because I had some other obligations. But bro, watching that on TV was fucking amazing. I can't imagine what it was like being there. Because I've been to the Sphere. I watched the postcards from, is it the Universe or Earth? I always get this wrong. It's like the movie that they show there. It's like a nature type thing. It's really cool. Totally fucking amazing.
The one this time was also very primal, very early human, like totally up my alley. And I was like, let's go. I have videos I can show you.
Oh, like the whole Mayan thing just because of
so dope.
It was Mexican Independence Day, right?
Yeah, or Mexican Fight Week, or I'm not sure what they call it.
It was some sort of holiday.
Yeah.
Bro, that place is freaking amazing.
It was amazing. And yeah, there's this company called Wild Mind. It's not my company. It's WILD. My stuff's WILD. And it's a mushroom company here in Colorado. I've been a sponsor for them for
no shit.
I don't know, a year or so. So they send me all these different mushroom products, right? And
if you're listening, shout out. We want a sponsorship too. What is it? Wild Mind?
Wild Mind.
Okay, let's
I think their website might be Wild Mind Co. Okay. Yeah, we're definitely putting on.
Are they a smart shop? Like,
I don't know what that means.
Well, so like the only place, well, I heard that we have some psychedelic shops here in Colorado now, but I haven't explored it at all.
I haven't either. I heard there's like places you can just buy mushrooms.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Oh, I got book in there somehow.
So do Wild Mind Co. and then put mushrooms. So yeah, they have, chocolates, they have capsules, they have like a whole bunch of different stuff.
So
I think this company's kind of on the forefront. I am not like super closely affiliated with them, but they send me product and I share it with my friends, and a lot of my friends have tried it and then gone on to purchase it.
So is it psychedelic compounds?
It's mushrooms, dude. This is mushrooms.
Fuck yeah.
This is like go to the products tab, like on the top right.
I have one called Love and Sex Blend.
I have that. Okay. It's got Blue Lotus in it. It's like it's for making love.
Okay. Never tried it on the Blue Lotus products. Here we go. So what should I hit? Capsules?
So they got capsules, gummies, tea. I've tried all of them. I think chocolate is what I use most often.
Okay.
It feels like the dosing is perfect. I really like how it hits, and it's super predictable. It's like that right level of
because that's the problem with like weed edibles. Like sometimes you like, dude. I think there's a comedian. It might have been we had him in. Might have been Ben Roy that was talking about like eating a chocolate bar. It's like, okay, but which square is it in, right? Because I've eaten 2 of these and I feel nothing in that last one.
Yeah.
Or I ate it a week later. It's like fucked me up, right?
So they have 2 different bars here. So that's the 6 gram bar. They have a 3 gram bar as well. I can't believe we're doing a deep dive on mushrooms. This is not where I thought this was going to go.
Well, so shout out to these guys. They're getting a fucking free advertisement.
Yeah, this is crazy. So they have that.
Spend $350, you get 20% off. Whew.
They have that low dose infused chocolate bar, and I would say it's not low dose. It's lower dose than their other chocolate bar, but 1 square is still perfect. 1 square is perfect. We took one. And we were in Steamboat, and we did a bike ride up to a waterfall, like 10-mile ride. And by the time we got there, started hiking to the waterfall.
Would 1 dose be like 1 square?
1 dose would be 1 square.
Okay.
And yeah, we took one square of the lighter, the less infused one,
okay.
and we got to the waterfall. And I mean, one of the most magical days of my life. Like, it's like not overwhelming, but you just feel like you're at home and you're just like in the woods. I was shoes off, shirt off, scaling the side of the mountain, you know, just like climbing, being a monkey. There's people around. I don't give a shit what anybody thinks. I'm just like totally dialed in to like interacting with the water, and like we're going up and seeing these cool designs on the wood. Normally people would just walk through a place, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, oh, I'm just like going on a hike. No.
Got to beat my Strava time.
Right. In this moment, you're just like, I want to interact with nature.
Yes.
I am nature, right? That's what you realize. And that's what we lose so much of, is that we're just a flesh bag, just like an elk.
Part of it, yeah.
Just like a monkey. We're the same kind of flesh bag moving through the environment, and we think of ourselves as separate, and we're not. And
or better, or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. It's
like nature puts you in your place. Like the scariest moments I've ever had have been in nature. It's not
absolutely.
Like well, that's not true. Scariest moments I've had is have guns like pulled in your face, or like, you know, being in other countries and being in a hairy situation. Like
that's
shit
terrifying.
happens, right? But more scary than that is like a bull moose that wants to go the way that you want to go, or you're crossing paths and he wants to go through you and you're way slower than him. Like, I mean, or running into a grizzly bear.
Yeah.
You know, like luckily I've never had one charge. I was on one where we got bluff charged and it wasn't like super close. Thank God. Because I probably would have had to like stop and wash my pants in the creek or something, right?
They're so
like
big.
They're so big, man.
They can literally.
I've had moments with elk where I've been like, holy fuck, dude, I can't believe that just happened.
Yeah,
like
CPW,
bulls come in, like, yeah.
CPW was saying that most of the Colorado animal deaths are deer and elk. It's not bears. It's not mountain lions.
The worst are the cows when they calf.
Mm-hmm. And these people that walk right up to them and try and
So
pet them.
stupid,
From
dude.
Arizona, they're like, oh, or Ohio or something. They come up. They're like, I'm going to pet the big horse-looking thing.
So, yeah, it puts you in your place. Lightning is probably the scariest thing I've been through. Like, when you're above tree line, like, fucking, dude, that is gnarly. Or falling. Like, it's so easy to fall. Mm-hmm. Like, I've just tripped on the trail or fallen down a muddy mountain while it's raining. Or, like, dude, you can hurt yourself in a hurry, man. It very much puts you in your place, because it doesn't matter how good a shape you're in, how much you can bench press, how many likes you have on Instagram. Like, everybody's equal.
It's the great equalizer.
Yeah, it really is.
And that's why you need to go to Wild Ride Outdoors. No,
fuck yeah. Kidding. No, you should, man. Like, you should experience that. I think for people that don't know, have never hunted before, or never spent any time in the backcountry, I was so fortunate because I grew up in a family that meant a lot to them. Mm-hmm. And it goes like 12 generations deep here of them, you know, being cattle ranchers and hunting elk, and like, you know, preferring to eat elk meat over their ranch raised cattle, and like those sort of stories and stuff like that. So I had all those generations of knowledge of like how to be a steward and stewardship, and selecting the right animals for what you're trying to do, especially if it's on like some private property or something like that, and you're trying to do what's best for the population of the animals, right? Like, all that was ingrained in me from a really young age, and it, like, people that were super passionate. But if you never had that, if you just grew up in the inner streets of Chicago, that knowledge is not available to you. You might be able to listen to it in a podcast. You might be able to read it in some books, and there's some fantastic, but you have to go find it. You have to find all that information. And then I don't care what you listen to on a podcast or read in the book. It's not the same as like the ground truth of being out there and experiencing animal behavior, and like understanding animal behavior, and just what the wind does. Like, you know, what barometric pressure does to like the way that a wind goes up or down a ravine, like morning and night, like sunrise, sunfall, like, dude, all those things play such an integral part in what happens in your surroundings. Like, unless you've experienced it firsthand, you don't really, really know.
Yeah, it's the difference between thinking and feeling. You can think about the woods, but you can't feel the woods, right?
1,000%.
Like right now, even I can't even remember exactly what that feeling is. Like from last week being in the bush, like I can't feel it right now because I'm not there. You have to be there to feel it.
For me, and I only really do this, well, that's not true. When I really do it is in September, where it's like, okay, I am going for 2 weeks. Whether I come back to base camp is my choice. Whether I stay out there is my choice. Because I always have a base camp, and then I'll go out of the backpack for a few days. But if I'm on the elk, I'll stay on the elk.
Yeah, sometimes you don't have a choice.
Yeah. Sometimes you're out there for 6 days and you don't see a fucking thing, and you're like, I need a hard reset and to rethink what I'm doing here or whatever, right? So, like, I'm doing it in the lab of luxury. I'm falling back to like a canvas tent with fucking some sort of heat source, whether it's fire or whatever, right? But when I really, really experience it, and it literally takes me, when I'm hunting, like 3 days to kind of like clear my mind. Because even when I'm hiking, I'm not totally like present. Even though I'm fucking 5 or 6 miles deep, I'm not totally present because there's all this shit that you almost like that I personally have to decompress from. And then I feel like I become a better hunter like that 4-day mark where I'm like, okay, I'm really paying attention now. Or I remember how to do this. Or I can remember listening for this. Or yes, now I'm double checking the wind. Or like, there's so many little variables that make a huge difference in having success. But also when I go like camping or paddleboarding or for a run or with my dog, you're not as in tune to nature unless you're actually hunting. Because when I'm on a run with my dog like this morning, I'm not paying attention to the wind. You know, I'm not like, oh, it's at my back. I'm not listening. I'm not trying to be as quiet as and have the least amount of impact or blend in as much as you can in nature. I think once you start to actually blend in, like you just explained with the waterfall experience, where you're like, I need to be a part of this to have success or to accomplish this goal. I think that's when you truly start to experience nature and maybe what we were meant for and how good that feels and like all those sort of things.
It's well said. I think there's a time and a place for all of it. Like sometimes the criticism I get is like, oh, you're doing this 100-miler, like that's kind of like not with the ethos of what you teach. And to me, I think it's just misguided and misunderstood. Like people think that
because you're competing as an athlete or
like trying to like cover large amounts of distance or like things like that. And I'm like, you know, the Shaolin monks all the way to the Aztecs to the Comanche, they all had beautiful nature-based meditation practices where they valued stillness and many of them rites of passage. And they were all absolutely fucking savage athletes. And you can do both because there is time and there is space for both of those.
You should do both.
Exist.
That's the safest way to be in the backcountry is be in the absolute best shape that you purposely can be in.
Mm-hmm. And I would make an argument that always being goal-oriented in the backcountry or in the outdoors and nature, you're getting only part of the experience. So a lot of my teaching, and I know we've probably touched on this before in other podcasts, is I just got back from a solo. I really value, I think, every human, especially anybody who wants to be a leader in a business or in a family or whatever, should sit in the woods for a couple days, ideally 2, 3, 4 days, fasting, get some water, and just sit. Even try not to sleep too much. A lot of times it's done like in a prayer circle, like a circle of rocks to kind of give you your spot and just sit there and be and see how deeply you tune in. If you want to think about low or like hitting different vibrations in terms of like psychedelics or whatever, there's nothing that compares to like a vision fast. It's completely different.
So doing this solo or with like-minded people or what?
So I offer this. This is part of the offering in many of my courses, not all of them. And
so there's no goal other than to be present.
You're just doing a solo. And, some of my courses are public courses. Some of them are private courses, right? I take on private clients to do things specific to what they want. I can tell you about a really cool one if you remind me that I did this past year. But the public courses, there's more of an agenda, right? You have to be a little bit more organized. So the great thing is I'm creating this container to have these encounters with nature at its most raw form. It is completely unadulterated. And I think I'm a hunter, and I deeply believe in our conservation efforts in America. I think hunting is a great thing. I think hunters suck at communicating information, and that's why people don't like it. But the point is, sometimes going out there, not for the hunt, is the point. Not to pursue anything, but just to go inward and just be. And it's extremely challenging, especially for someone who's goal-oriented.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever done that.
It's
I have.
It's one of the harder things. And I think, I typically say, I think 99.9% of people have never gone 24 hours without human influence. That means no books, no TV, no audiobook, no journal, or you could have a journal, but nothing written in it to start. So no human influence, meaning the only thought that comes into your head is what bounces in between there during that period. How many people do you think have gone 24 hours?
Dude, I bet you it's
got to be less than...
I bet you it's less than 1%.
I think it's 0.1. I think it's 1 in 1,000.
Because of everything that we have going on around us, like constantly.
The only people I know that like do it are typically people who are really into the outdoors, really into these sorts of experiences and seek it out. And I think it's one of the greatest opportunities for growth for people today is like it's so far out of the norm. It's so different, and it makes it more challenging that pursuing it creates this like massive growth opportunity.
Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right. I think we've had I've been so fortunate, dude, with the podcast, like incredibly fortunate. And
you deserve it.
One of the people that was referred to me by my friend Jeremiah Wilbur, who's this amazing individual, dude, like former Green Beret, hunter, cowboy, like just living life the way that he wants in his best form of servitude and everything else, and also experiencing the backcountry and self-exploration and not being influenced by other people, and just he's just all fucking man, right? And he genuinely helps people left and right. Well, one of those people that he's helped is me. And he referred somebody that helped him to the podcast, and she just happened to be a neurophysiologist that helps she helps the military in identifying and dealing with TBI, like on the battlefield. So there's like a lot of things that she's brought to the forefront that are like kind of protocols now that can help flatten that curve a little bit, so it's not such a drastic spike of traumatic brain injury or like other stuff. But then in that space, and because she had a family member in special operations, she then has focused her career on helping people get through some of those experiences, or like guys that are severely damaged from combat or training, or I mean the list just goes on and on and on of stuff that these guys have experienced and are now experiencing because of their experience in the military. But she's a neurophysiologist. She's a brain scientist. Has a PhD. Like, one of her biggest correlations, to the point where now this is somebody that could have made millions of dollars working at Stanford doing brain research or anything like that, right? Like, she's so selfless that she's just genuinely helping people, I think, kind of at no cost. Like, whether speaking opportunities come up, everybody's got to make a living, right? And why not listen to her? But she's developing and has the science behind human connection and nature. And she's developing a supplement And the way that she explained it to me, and I'm sorry, Kate, if I'm getting this wrong.
What's her name?
I can't wait to have her back in. Doc Kate Pate.
Okay, you got to connect me with her.
Incredible. She talked about like one of the reasons why we feel so good in nature is because we've been there genetically, which we know in history and all that stuff for so many years. But it's not only that. You get these certain bacterias that are really good for you, and they're good for you cognitively. So whether it's bacteria that's in the soil or in animal hide, all these sort of things start to trigger different things in the brain that then help with adrenal glands and dopamine and like all this different stuff that like I'm totally butchering this right now, so I'm sorry, Kate. But it's fascinating.
Wow.
To the point where they now have some real science. There's this other organization that I help out with, and shout out to my buddy Ben Davis. He's a former SEAL. They're advocating and lobbying in Congress right now to get the VA to prescribe outdoor therapy as an alternative to like SSRIs and like some of these pharmaceutical drugs that just kind of mask a problem.
Amen.
They have like real benefits and real studies and like what happens to you cognitively through experiencing like nature. So to me, it's like, it's much more than just, oh, it feels good because you're like in nature. There's some real science behind it, and it's like fucking proven, right? Like there's these bacteria, all this different stuff that we get. So to me, it just like reaffirms what you're saying so much, is it's not only beneficial for you like feeling wise, there's actual real science behind the shit now.
Yeah, and it's really cool when that data kind of confirms what we know. Obviously, like in my opinion, I think a researcher would probably call it confirmation bias. Like, of course, the fucking hippie with the long hair and no shoes on is going to say, like, that
hey, I'm doing the podcast with no shoes either, dude. Shout out.
Let's go.
Fucking go.
But yeah, it's cool when they're able to put data and like kind of measure those things, because a lot of times, new age folks just like to say these like words, and they're trying to describe things, but it's kind of airy, right? It's like hard to put your finger on what they're actually saying. So I think for a lot of like logical minded individuals, hearing about tangible statistical results that have some verifiability and repeatability makes it more inclined to be something they'll take on. And I'm
1,000%. Me too. And I just think like it's helped me so much, like listening to Andrew Huberman. I don't know if you listen to like Huberman Labs at all.
I used to. I haven't in a long time.
I haven't taken in as much of it as I should.
They tried to cancel him, right?
Oh, yeah. That's the fucking crazy thing too, dude. Like, why? But you can't. Not in the podcast platform.
It's hard to cancel a podcaster.
It's really hard.
He can just keep putting out hours and hours of content.
Yeah. It's endless, right? But just what I've learned through him before I had Doc Kate paid in on like circadian rhythm and how your body, it just makes so much sense that humans are meant to be outside. We are a part of nature. We are a part of nature just as much as an elk or a deer is. We just choose and have the ability and have created societies where we can remove ourselves from it, whether it's having a roof over your head or a warm blanket over you at night or something to distract you, because really that's all a podcast is. That's all a book is. Like, humans are built on distraction. Everything is all about distraction and greed. I hate to say it. It's like, oh fuck, I need a cup of coffee to get through my day. Do you really need that cup of coffee? Do we really need to drink Jocko Goes? I mean, it enhances the experience, but like, you don't need really anything other than food and love, maybe.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
There's the old, like,
to survive, I think.
There's the old rule of threes, like, you say like 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. And I kind of like extend that in my teaching out on the I extend it on both ends because I think the theories fall a little bit short in most regards. But, they say 3 weeks without food, which is reasonable. And then I kind of add 3 months without community, because it seems from my studies and people can call me out on this, but 90 days alone, and I think like the Alone series has even kind of supported this in many ways. Like once you get into those multi-month solitude endeavors, there start to be real lasting, undeniable impacts on your health from not having community. It may be slower acting. Like you feel loneliness pretty quickly in the bush. It doesn't necessarily take that long, but it kind of comes and goes in the beginning. It's pretty fleeting, especially, if you're hungry, it's the hierarchy of needs. You don't really think too much about, I miss Bobby because I'm starving. So all I think about is how do I get a fish? But once I have the fish, once I have my shelter, once I have everything set up, then you start thinking about community. You're like, damn, I don't see my mom enough. Or, man, I was kind of mean to that guy in high school. Or, these like weird different relational things. And those are kind of towards the higher end of the hierarchy of needs. And as time goes on and you spend more and more time in the bush, those are the things that you start to experience.
Oh, I definitely experienced that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've figured out a lot of stuff personally. I mean, this podcast is one of them that kind of like came to me while I was on an elk hunting trip. It was like,
really?
It was like I was, 10 days in, and it was like, fuck, man, I'm just not like, I've had this amazing career. I have nothing to complain about. A career that people would fucking probably die for or give up, things for. And I gave up. I sacrificed a lot. I sacrificed a lot of relationships. I sacrificed time away from my kids. I sacrificed all kinds of stuff to have the career that I do. But I think everybody sacrifices at some point. Whether you're chasing your dream of living wild or whatever, like sacrifice has to be made. But it was like, what do I really want to do? And I had become a fan of podcasting. So this was exactly like 7 years ago. And I was like, man, this is like the truest form of human expression, but also kind of fun at the same time. But really what I've built here, it was never envisioned as like a podcast to get listeners. It was more like, dude, I want to build my own community. And that's what I've done with the Mountainside. It's like, that's why I have recurring guests. That's why I've had you on. Is this your third or fourth time?
Third time.
Third time, right? It's like, I need to catch up with Ryan. Like I genuinely reached out to you yesterday. It's just like, he's part of the community. I haven't talked to him in a while. Sometimes I'm a shitty friend, or sometimes you get those blinders on. It's like, I just got to check in on people every once in a while. If I get that inclination, like, oh, I wonder how this person's doing, or I haven't seen him, or I haven't whatever. And like social media is not a good gauge of that. Like I encourage you to like fucking reach out to your friends, but really it's like a community here now. And so much that you've been able to help me with guest recommendations. I've built new relationships because of that. You're sitting here because Donnie Dust recommended you. Like, so it's really a community. You know what I mean?
You've done a really good job at kind of fostering that. So you deserve all the credit there. That's, it's something to be proud of. It's not easy to manage all those communications and put yourself out there,
especially as it grows. It's like, oh God, I feel like I'm neglecting this person or that person or.
Yeah, I mean,
but when you have those feelings, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is like in today's modern age,
just reach out to
pick up your phone and shoot them a text or
and it was
give
funny
them a call.
That you said that because I was on that bear hunt the day before I got back, and I was thinking about you, and then you texted me. I was like, holy shit, I was just thinking about Bobby. Wonder what he's doing.
Isn't that weird how the world works like that sometimes?
Yeah, it's kind of like a timer that's kind of synced up. You're thinking about somebody, and then they text you, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Dude, the universe, I mean, not to get so deep here, but like it kind of knows, it kind of knows. And like some of my darkest moments in my life, I've had people that I haven't talked to in like 2 or 3 years reach out, and that fucking feels good. It's like, and a lot of the relationships that I have from my lifetime with good friends, it's almost like you don't skip a beat. Like, you just kind of catch up. It's like
the The theory I have about this, because I've thought about that kind of serendipitous, like almost like it feels like we have a global mindset. And take it back a step. Humans and like great apes have 95% of the same DNA. You can track their ACs, T's, and G's on their DNA sequencing, and they're 95% the same. So think about what you and I have the same. I mean, it's like 98, 99. It might be even, I don't know what the number is. Maybe it's 99.5%. We have just a couple little things and some epigenetic changes that change during our lifetime that pull me from you. But we're 99% the same thing.
Oh, and then you throw in like our creative aspect of what we're trying to create, whether yours is very different than mine, but like...
Now we're like 99.9.
Exactly.
You know? And I think that's why you can go from America and go to Nepal and meet a Sherpa, and instantly you're best friends. You hardly speak the same language. You've never met before. Your lives are completely different, but you still share 98%. Some scientist is going to come after me for my percentages here. I'll ask chat later. You share an unbelievable amount of the DNA with that person, and so the truth is, we're not really strangers.
Yeah.
That doesn't really exist.
There's so many commonalities.
Because we are made of the same thing.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. I think also like what builds that bond a little bit is facing some adversity or even relating to adversity. Like, I think it's so cool what you're trying to achieve now. And I'll do everything in my power to help you achieve that because you're my friend, right?
Appreciate that.
Because like I think that that's also a sense of community, is like genuinely helping people without asking for anything in return. You know what I mean? Like that's
podcast game is the best example of lifting others up. It's like it's one of the coolest communities because there's no famine, right? Like we are not at all competing against each other. And our podcasts are as closely tied as any, but like there's no sense of competition. It never would even cross my mind. So it's like this practice that we all do, and we literally get to lift everyone up together.
Yeah, we're getting the same. I would bet that you get the same experience that I get. I mean, that's dependent on your guest and stuff, but like you get the same human experience that I get from podcasting, just as Joe Rogan does from having Andrew Schultz on or something like that. There's like this sort of human connection that's there that it's almost like I've created so many friendships at this table, I guess is what I'm getting at, right? Mm-hmm. Like when you walk out of here today, not only was our connection strong before that and I care about what you're doing, but now like sitting down and seeing your passion and knowing that like you're fucking all in, that connection's even stronger now to where it's like, I just understand it better. Yeah. Because we've had time to sit here and do this.
And it's so
you don't
rare.
get the same thing over the phone or through a text.
Like, you don't really get it anywhere. I mean, it's like here and then it's like around the fire. That's kind of like really the only two places where you can archetype it because there has to be some kind of a limit where you have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know when this is going to be over. No one does.
It's speaking of which, you have something at 12:30, right?
No, 1:30.
1:30. Okay, what time do you need to leave here?
1. 1.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we got a little more time.
I got therapy.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's good. How are you taking that in?
I do it virtual. I think I think it's been good for me. I don't do it often, but I have one today. It's been good. It's a good mirror, right? Like therapy is like a cool thing because you get to see through things. My therapist doesn't really call me out on a lot of bullshit. She's mainly like, you just maybe need to chill a little bit, which I will receive that. But yeah, I've had a very traumatic life in my past years, and my life is so beautiful now, and it gives in so many ways that, gosh, when I'm in therapy, I'm like mostly like, yo, I'm pretty much just stoked. Like I'm pretty much just like in this place where, man, I know how bad shit could be, and I know how fortunate and grateful I am to have what I have.
Yeah, that's a good perspective to have. It's a really good perspective to have.
yeah, I'm lucky to be in that spot right now. You know, there's a lot of people hurting, and there's a lot of people out there where it's like, oh, great, that's good for you. Must be nice. My life really sucks. And it can be hard to pull yourself up by your bootstraps sometime and get yourself out of those holes. But ultimately, it's all about radical self-ownership over your life, over the things that you make a practice, the way you treat people, the way you talk to your spouse. Like, those are the little things that I've found end up contributing to true happiness.
Yeah, no, you hit the nail on the head there for sure. It's kind of about how, it's not only about how you treat yourself, it's about taking care of yourself and treating those around you with, I guess, the most amount of respect you can, right?
Even if it's tough love.
Yeah.
Which sometimes it is. Probably with kids for sure. I don't have any kids, but
it's hard. I mean, kids are great. But they're a lot, man. Like, especially once they start having dreams of their own and all that sort of stuff. Like, at some point like, the hardest balance for me personally was not taking care of myself and only focused on like taking care of them. So then your health starts to diminish. And then there's like this fine balance. You're like, oh fuck, I need to balance this so I can get more mileage out of it, right? Like those are the hard things I think that I struggled with. But I feel like I'm really grounded and have that now. It's like, okay, I need to check these boxes every day to make sure that I'm being the best version of myself that I can.
There's a lot to balance there. It's like,
yeah.
I want to have kids one day, but I'm definitely nervous about it.
Yeah.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't. Like, I feel like I'll be a good dad.
You should be.
It feels like nerve-wracking. It feels like a lot of pressure, especially being, you know, even with, you know, as you imagine, dating is not the easiest thing when you spend all the time that I do in the backcountry, and like, it's like, hey, I'll be gone 8 weeks, no phone. I'll see you like later this year. You know, that it's like, you know, you run that one by.
You kind of need like a partner in crime, right?
Yeah. I've learned that Nicole is the greatest girl I've ever met. I was thinking about this today. I actually think she's the nicest person, not just nicest person I've ever met, which is unbelievably attractive to me. I'm extremely, attracted to kindness. I know some guys like them like spicy, like,
right.
You know, like girls with like more attitude, but it's just not, it's not for me. And yeah, it's been so cool to watch her outdoor life change this past year, because when I met her, she was from Dallas, which, if you don't know anything about Dallas, it's like Los Angeles of Texas. Like, it's a concrete jungle.
It's huge.
It's just fancy dinners and socialites, and that's all great if that's what you want to vibe with, but that's not how I live. And so you were talking about it earlier, how scary lightning is. I took her out on like a pretty primitive trip, a very remote place, and we had lightning cracking down right next to us on both sides. Instantaneous sound, right? So it's like within, you know, yards of us.
Close.
And then it starts hailing and a windstorm, and it's snowing and it's raining, and just
must have been in Colorado, huh?
It was in Colorado. It was unbelievable. And like seeing experiences like that, and her like coming through these experiences in the moment, absolutely terrified, coming through it like, that was amazing. I'm so alive. Like, I can't believe I just went through that. I would have never imagined like this kind of inner strength. And it's been really cool. She's super into training and has become a super legit athlete. And she just debuted her first trail race in the Desert Rats race.
Oh, nice. That's gnarly, right? Isn't that through Death Valley or some shit?
No, this one's in Fruita.
Okay.
So it's a UTMB qualifying race. And I was going to go run the half marathon, the 20K. And she was like, oh, I'll run the 10K just for fun, like as a training run. And she ends up getting third place. Like,
that's badass.
On the podium, like totally unexpected. And I'm like, you know, waiting for her at the finish line. And I'm thinking, you know, okay, there's first place, there's second place. Oh, you know, maybe you're somewhere back there. And here she comes streaking out of the woods, just like coming down this canyon. Yeah, it's really cool to have a partner in your life where you're just like inspired by him.
Yeah, no, that's great, man. I think that's the goal, right? You want somebody you like to be around, but then also has some of the same sort of goals and stuff that you do, right? Like, because to go through life with somebody is fucking, it's hard, man. It's not easy. It's work.
I'm hard. Like being,
Yeah.
I feel like being with me, I think about it often. I'm like, man, it must be really hard. Like, it's not, I don't have a 9 to 5, you know,
right. Not anymore.
Yeah. My life is just, it's a little different maybe, or a little like countercultural. So like, I feel like that could be hard because like things would be hard to explain to your friends. Like, oh, why are you guys doing that? It's like,
right.
That's not what people do. It seems weird, right?
Yeah, no, but that's the good thing about it is like if you find somebody that'll go through those moments with you or go through hardship or go test themselves, then you have a true partner in crime. It's got to be a Bonnie and Clyde type situation, honestly.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether you're breaking the law or not.
Yeah, it's weird. I've changed my mind on a lot of things, but I've changed my mind on like finding a partner like that. I actually, like, my parents hated each other. I only saw abuse and all of that growing up. That's all I saw. So I thought, okay, you find someone that you like 80%, and then 20% of the time you want to rip each other's fucking heads off. And everyone goes through life, and that's how everyone's experience is. Mm-hmm. There's no way, like, there's no fairy tales. There's no liking a person and like being happy for all the rest of your days.
I think a lot of people do go through that, honestly.
I just thought that was the only way.
Right.
And now I'm realizing maybe a little later in life that if you find that person, it actually doesn't have to be that way.
Absolutely.
So I don't know.
That's rad.
We've been together.
I'm happy for you, man. Like, yeah. You've crossed so many bridges since we just had you in here a year ago, and you just set a world record on the Aerodyne bike.
Yeah.
Is you still holding?
Still have the world record for 24 hours on the assault bike.
Assault bike, yeah.
It's what
same thing, right?
Any type of fan bike is allowed to be used. I used an assault bike.
Assault makes great equipment, dude. Like, I love the self-propelled treadmill that they have, the Assault Runner.
I want to see Truett take that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you know Cameron Haynes?
So we go back and forth on DMs. He's been a huge supporter of the podcast. Fucking awesome guy.
Because the record I set is breakable. Like, I think I could beat it now, knowing what I know.
Yeah.
It was 395 miles in 24 hours when I attempted it. I got 426.9 miles. And I think someone else can smash that. And I'm like,
Truett's a fucking beast,
fucking
dude.
savage, dude. Just no
he just
excuses.
Broke like the whole world pro-up record again, right? I think
like
he beat himself.
2:36 marathon or something
in jeans,
being absolutely jacked, like so jacked.
Yeah, he's a stud, man. But I mean, you look at the genealogy too. It's like his dad's a stud. His brother, Cam's dad, like. If you've read any of his books, he just actually came out with a new book that I'm in the middle of right now.
I read Endure, which is the one he talked about his dad. I shouldn't say I read. I listened to that on a car ride. And it was good. But yeah, it was cool to hear about how his dad was a stud runner too.
It's cool to see those guys thriving as much as they are because he's good people. Like knowing that firsthand, just in the communication, I feel like he's a good person. So.
I think it's a cool world where the dad from down the street that's like a savage becomes this electrifying superhero, right? Like growing up, Cam would have just been like the dad down the street that like goes on these crazy hunts and like runs every morning, right? But it would have been like unremarkable. And now, like, say what you want about social media, that is what we all resonate with, is just like this guy hitting the highest version, the highest level of RPMs that he can possibly hit. And it just like sits there and marinates, and you're just like,
it's inspiring.
You can relate to it so much because you're like, what if I did everything I could do to live my best life? Because like that's the aura that both of them give off, is that they are squeezing the fucking absolute juice out of life. And now that is...
He just ran a 250 or something with a broken foot, I thought I read in a post or something.
He just ran Cocodona 250, which was 250 miles across the desert.
But he had a broken foot.
With a broken foot.
Crazy, dude.
Dude's an absolute savage.
He's a savage.
I have a question for him, and I don't know, maybe one day he'll hear this, but I always wonder, like, while he's hunting, so like if I'm doing a hunt that's like relatively stationary, I try to like fit in runs during the week. And different like fitness, like all deadlift rocks, and like I'm trying to like.
I saw that on your Instagram yesterday or something.
Yeah,
doing
always
all kinds
doing
of like rock workouts
all the time, man.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I wonder if Cam does that, or is that just like his recharge? He hikes what he has to hike, which are probably huge days, but then he doesn't put in any like in endurance training you call it quality work, which means like high end work.
right.
So I'm wondering if he's like, because how is he maintaining that speed late into his life with massive month chunks of no speed? Like a 250 marathon is like 640 pace for 26.2 miles at 50 something years old. That's incredible speed.
Yeah.
Like you don't just like fluke into that. He's putting in an unbelievable amount of work. And I'm wondering how he handles that during like long hunts.
Well, it's funny because, like, since I've paid attention to it, and one of those reasons why I pay attention to it is because of Cam's philosophy. Is like, growing up in the family that I did, I mean, they were all working class guys. They bow hunted hard, but they weren't like in uber shape back there. I mean, they were farm strength, like strong, and blue collar work, like all physical jobs, whether it was road construction or excavation or ranching or whatever, right? Like those jobs just make you strong, but they don't make you like endurance athletes, right? Like 100%. Cam is an endurance athlete, hands down. Anybody that argues that can shut this fucking podcast off right now. Like the dude is an endurance athlete. Anybody that runs a half marathon a day or sometimes a full marathon and then fits in the Boston Marathon and these ultras and goes out and runs with Courtney to make himself better. That's an endurance athlete.
He's a track nerd too. He goes and watches track.
Yeah.
If you watch track, you're an endurance athlete. It's just like a
exactly
black and white test.
So I guess my point is like he changed the game for me of like, yeah, the more I'm in shape, the faster I can pack out, the faster I can get on elk, the better I'm going to feel while I'm out there, like probably the more success I'm going to have. And so I find myself personally like coming out of a hunt trip and I'm feeling just fucking depleted. My nutrition's not the best. I lose a ton of weight and a lot of it is like muscle mass. You know, for some reason.
Yeah.
Or I would say arguably a ton of that is muscle mass. I'm sure there's some fat and water and stuff in there too. But it's probably the worst that I treat myself for 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So like I always feel like I come out of it. My question for him is, and we'll have to ask him, I guess, at some point, or Cam, if you're listening to this, I would bet that he comes out of hunting season less in shape than he went in.
Sure.
Because that's how I'm feeling a lot of times.
I think that's how we all do. Feel beat down. Yeah. I think it's really cool what Cam has done, which is evaporating this like separation between endurance athlete and mountain man. And it's been a massive inspiration to me because I find myself in the middle of those two. I feel like I am a true mountain athlete, which is kind of like those combinations of the two. And I actually took some mushrooms and got this download that I was supposed to put on a race for like the mountain man spirit, combining those two things. So on June 21st in Conifer, Colorado, we're doing a race. It's called The Last Mountain Man Standing.
Nice.
And it's like a fully old school race. You have 60 minutes to complete a 4-mile mountain loop. On that loop, there's like some mountain man style obstacles. So you got to carry GoRuck's one of the partners. You got to carry a GoRuck tombstone. You got to carry a log up a hill and back down. So just like, some mountain man style obstacles. If you complete that lap in 60 minutes, you get to get back in the corral and go again. And you go for a possible total of 7 laps. If you make it to the last lap is a race on the same course.
Oh shit.
And
this is cool.
And that crowns the last mountain man and mountain woman standing. And they both win cash prizes.
Really?
So this will be, down the road in Conifer, June 21st of this year.
That's awesome.
So
maybe we'll come out. I'm not going to race it. Maybe I'll come out and sport. Maybe I will. Fuck it.
We have, that's like the full option. And then we also have what we call a foxtrot. The foxtrot is 1 lap. So you do 4 miles. If you don't want to like do, some people want to test themselves and see how far they can go. I think that's really valuable. Some people, that sounds intimidating and like not that fun. So foxtrot is however much time it takes you, you do the course 1 time. And then there's a mountain village, which is going to be like Evergreen Brewery and
nice.
Boone Mountain Sports, a bunch of the Evergreen places. And like, just vibes.
Shout out.
People
Good
hanging
people.
out. Yeah, great people. So that's actually what I'm doing after that therapy is we're going to work on the course, and then I am not running it, but I'm doing the testing.
When is it? June
21st.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be in town. No, that's rad though, dude. What a cool concept. They've done, I remember my grandfather telling me a story, because he was a miner for a while, firefighter and then miner. Firefighters always have like a part-time job. And I think he worked at the Argo mine for a while. But in Idaho Springs, like back in the 50s, and I'm curious to see if they still do this, they would do a burro race. Mm-hmm. And it was like a burro marathon where you just get like this burro, and he was like, that fucking donkey, I had to like drag that fucking thing, half of it, like
stubborn.
Yeah, crazy shit like that.
Still a thing up like in Leadville. You can do burro racing.
It's so cool, man. That's such a cool concept. And I think it's attainable for a broader spectrum than just like the miners or somebody that's been around animals. The only other thing that I know is there's these dudes out there that are doing, it's Western Hunt Fest, I believe. And they do this thing called a Pack 'em Out challenge.
Whoa.
So what it is you have to shoot a 3D archery course. And then they have simulated quarters that are actually like made out of silicone or whatever. Like they make these things now that it's a quarter of an elk. So you have to pack a full elk. I think there might be like a breakdown workout. I don't think you're actually like skinning or anything, but I think it's like a series of kettlebell workouts or something that mimic like you being bent over and like
on a hillside.
But then you also have to pack out an elk. So it's basically a timed race. And then you're also scored on how well you shoot, right?
So they have a primitive bowyers league?
I don't know if it's probably traditional. You could shoot in the traditional. Probably not primitive, but that's traditional.
Traditional's
archery.
fine.
Yeah.
I would do, if there was a trad
I think
bow
that's
thing,
happening pretty soon.
I would do this.
They're doing it at American Bowman. You should go to American Bowman with me. We got to go up there.
When? I'm in.
I don't know. Let's pick a time when you're back and I'm back from these trips, and we'll go this summer for sure. It's badass. But they do it at American Bowman. I think they do like a couple a year.
Sweet.
Something like that. And they're based in the Springs. Good dudes.
Yeah, I'm working on a new bow right now, so I'll
badass.
Bring
Are you still making bows?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, making bows. I still, do all of my primitive crafting as much as I can. I have now, I've got a lot of projects going on, so, sometimes things get picked up and put back down, but
I'm supposed to be napping right now. I went and we filmed we started filming the series called On the Mountainside, and like, it's just kind of a little passion project for me, but it was also to kind of be like, we can sit here and talk about all the stuff that we do, but like to actually go out and do it and like capture some of that is really cool. So for our second episode, I went to Donnie's cave/garage and he taught me how to nap and made a knife. I'll show it to you when we're done here. And then he sent me, he's such a generous
dude. This is the joint up near Boulder?
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. And then he sent me with a bunch of stuff to make, stuff, and I just
generous.
I haven't picked it up. Yeah, he's so rad.
He's so generous.
He's the fucking man, dude.
Yeah, I know he was like maybe moving, maybe not, getting another place or something. I don't know.
Well, he's got a place in Texas, but I don't think he's leaving Colorado.
Terlingua, right?
Not. Yeah.
That's where we did a course down there together.
If Donnie goes missing, he might be in the closet back here, so he can't leave Colorado.
You'll hear rocks popping.
Yeah. We'll set him up. All right, dude. We are cruising through time. You got to get out of here. But we didn't even really, we opened with this, and dude, what a fucking amazing conversation, dude.
Yeah, this is amazing. Thank you.
I had so much fun with you today. But let's spend the rest of the time that you have. You tell me when you got to go. You got to leave in like 20 minutes. Let's talk about, you just dropped the marathon that you're doing. What are you calling that? The mountain?
It's called The Last Mountain Man Standing.
Okay, you guys have a website or anything like that?
No, just my Instagram. It is super backyard. There's an Eventbrite where you sign up. All you have to do is Google The Last Mountain Man Standing, and there's an Eventbrite page that you sign up. Oh yeah, you could go to the link in my bio as well on my Ryan Quinn.
On your personal one?
Yeah, if you click that, it should be in there.
Nice.
Last Mountain Man Standing.
Oh, I see it right.
Yeah.
Okay. Rad. And then is there like an entry fee or like what's the...
Yeah, it's the cheapest race to my knowledge in Colorado.
Okay.
So the full, you can go down. So
is the ticket?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that how you enter?
Yeah. Hit get tickets.
Okay.
And I think the Foxtrot is $50 roughly, and the full ultra marathon is $100. Which, if you've ever raced an ultra marathon, they're like $500.
Seriously?
Literally, it's crazy.
That's wild.
Like a 250, like the one Cam just did, is like it can be like up to $2,000. It's crazy.
Insane.
It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
This is not. We're not trying to make money, so like this is not like me.
Yeah, you got to pay for the shit though.
I'm going to lose money on this. This is a money loser. This is me having a spirited thought about we need to bring back to life mountain fitness. Right? This is not an enterprise that's got a good scalable business plan.
That's rad.
But yeah, I'm putting that on with my buddy Nate Smith. It's actually his family's land. It's in Conifer. It's 250 private acres.
Nice.
And they're generous enough to let us put it on there. So shout out to them. It's an unbelievable piece of land. That's a view from the top of the climb that you'll do down into the valley.
Okay.
So yeah, it is awesome. It's kind of looks like Three Sisters vibes if you ever hike over there.
Oh, all the time.
Like those really cool rock formations.
Yeah.
It has those like on his property, which are
so rad.
Really rad.
Super cool. All right. And then let's talk more about your new ventures.
Yeah, so if you click this link tree in my bio, there's a couple things in there that we have going on. The top two are kind of pertinent to now. So we've got the Field to Feast, or actually let's do it in order. So first, we have the Primitive Skills Run, which is the weekend of July 4th. So it's the 2nd to the 6th.
Is this the Barefoot race or
no.
something? Weren't you doing like some barefoot running courses or something like that?
I run barefoot, but this you can wear shoes, you can wear whatever you want. So it's called the Primitive Skills Run, and essentially we have this amazing plot of land that I was telling you about, Chapman Ranch down in southern Colorado. And the premise is it's ultralight, like ancestral running as a tribe. And so you'll have basically the bare minimum. You'll have a piece of cloth, you have a knife, a bottle, little else, and you'll be running through the woods 5 days with a squad of people, foraging, learning how to make primitive fire, learning how to trap, identify plants, all different types of wilderness skills in an immersive experience. The land there, really does most of the teaching. It's this beautiful river land that has like these natural giant pools. There's almost nobody that's like been to these areas because they're hard to get to, and most of it's private. Luckily, we have the private land. So it's a really unique, creative experience, and everyone that went last year had like glowing reviews about it. So
it's badass.
It's probably the.
Have I told you the story about the fire runners? I don't know how. I don't want to take up any of your time.
No,
did we talk about that the last time? Like I found this information, and I don't know where I found it, so I can't like
remind me.
Give somebody credit. So there was this particular tribe, and there's like 600 recognized tribes in the U.S., right? Or just federally recognized tribes. So anyways, I can't remember what this was, but I think I saw it like on a wildland firefighter video or something. And they were talking about how fire has been a part of culture, and this one particular tribe would backburn wherever they left camp, right? So nomadic people. But fire was like the most sacred thing to them. So their fires were endless. It never went out.
Yeah.
So they had fire watchers that were in charge of like
the most esteemed position a lot, like Paiutes especially.
But then they also had fire runners. So it was the same fire. So they have these special like buffalo horns.
Oh.
And I would imagine that they were using aspen conch or something that would burn for a while, right? That you could carry with you. They would line it in some sort of clay, put the fire in there, cap it, and these guys were scouts. They would run with the fire, and they would always work in like I think it was teams of 4, right? In case one of them died or whatever. So they were relighting the same fire, and then they would send smoke signals so the tribe knew where to go. And then they would back burn whatever. So when they came back, there was new life there. Like crazy story. But anyways, just makes me think of that. Yeah. But these guys they said that they would run like an ultra in a day, like a 50. 50 miler or something like that. To find
they weren't athletes. They were just sitting there like, no. Dude, no. The backburning thing is one of the biggest things we're missing here in Colorado.
All over.
Having stewards here, like there are so many burns I want to do. Having stewards of the land, like people that sit with the land for long periods of time and start to understand the disruption that's going on from dead and decaying overgrown materials. It's like, oh my God, this is a problem and I can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And it's like early man would not watch this river get completely swallowed by this choke point of dead willows, disrupting all food, all fish, flora, fauna, doesn't matter, everything being completely restricted and cut off. It's like they would just burn it real quick.
Yeah.
And it would be a huge fire for an hour. And then, they would do it in a protected way, but it would fix all the problems immediately.
Right.
And there's unfortunately, we can't do that these days, but it's in my mind a lot, obviously.
Yeah, no, I think it's a super effective way to manage a forest, much more than like going through it with chainsaws and gas, and probably has less impact on the actual ecosystem than
you also aren't
logging equipment, cutting down living trees, and
you're not like doing a full reset. You're just trimming everything. Like cutting isn't going to do the same thing that burning's going to do. That's like a haircut with scissors versus a Bic razor, right? Like those are different practices.
Yeah, it's crazy. So sorry, let's go back to your next thing. But I just was thinking with the primitive running skills, we should look that up. Like that's what I think of as soon as I hear that. I think of those fire runners, dude. It's such a cool story.
And so the way the locals describe it, that's basically kind of what happened in this exact route that we're doing, which it goes from 10,000 feet to 7,000 feet in just a couple miles. It's this crazy river basin that is crazy steep, and all of the elk, bear, they all still use it to migrate. It's a nationally protected no development zone because it's such an important migration path, and the humans used to follow it. So we're running in the footsteps of our ancestors. We are literally doing as they did in 2025.
That's badass.
There's obviously changes. There's restrictions. There's things we can't do. There's things that we get to do that maybe they didn't do.
I bet you they didn't have ultra running shoes or something with a wide toe box. Right?
Or like a beautiful steel knife. You get to bring a knife with you.
Yep.
But maybe they did. There's a lot of really cool experiences to be had in that formation. You don't have to be an amazing runner. We have like different types of runners. What I say is you got to be comfortable moving 10 miles on your feet. If you feel comfortable going 10 miles on your feet, you probably have a good enough aerobic base to make this thing work.
That's rad.
And then the other one right above that, it says live off the land, field butchering and primitive skills. I probably should change that. That's like AI wrote that or something. That is our field to feast course, which is new this year. I have a co-teacher. Her name's Emily Bartle. She is a wizard of primitive butchery.
Nice.
And she'll be coming out. The first 2 days will be at a mountain camp, base camp. And as a tribe, we will slaughter, butcher, process animals, large game animals. And then we'll process those for the 3-day walkabout that takes place afterwards.
That's awesome.
As a tribe, we'll move through the land.
When you say primitive, are you doing it with stone or are you doing...
There will probably be some of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Knives, steel knives and stone knives.
Cool.
But yeah, no electric rods, no guns, nothing like that.
Okay.
It's a relatively, earthen experience, and we'll be using that animal to help us subsist over the next 3 days as we walk through this land. So it's kind of a full life cycle, right? Like from having the live animal when you arrive, and kind of taking that life, being a part of that, which I think is a very heavy experience that almost nobody, again, 1 in 1,000, maybe it's less, 1 in 20,000.
It's like 1% of the population actually hunts.
Yeah,
something like that. So I don't think you could argue that maybe ranchers or somebody that works in a slaughterhouse or something experiences that.
That's about it.
Yeah.
So
puts a perspective on a life. I say that all the time.
It's
like
crazy.
That's what hunting did for me as a young man. It was like, holy shit, dude, this is not.
It's taking.
It's crazy. Yeah,
it's taking a life. And going through that, processing it, using every part of the animal, right? Using the bones, using the sinew, using the meat, making jerky, making steaks, making cracklins. Bartle has such an amazing knowledge of like primitive animal butchering. We'll do a bunch of cool stuff with organs and things that you would never.
Is she here in Colorado?
She's nomadic.
Oh, okay. Of course.
Yeah. She used to have a social media. It was called Mink Belly, but and her social media was awesome. She has since taken it down. So I know she has an email list. That's like email is kind of the only thing she's doing right now. But she is an amazing person. She's also a dope athlete. Like,
has she been on your podcast?
Yes.
Okay, I'll have to go listen.
Yes, she has been on my podcast. She was in a yurt, and it was a dope podcast.
No shit.
Her one of her things that she does is long distance walks and runs, mainly walks. She's done like all of the long trails that you can imagine. They've done these crazy 1,000-mile walks, some of them in buckskins, some of them primitive, some of them modern, like just is out there in the bush all the time, living and practicing what she preaches.
That's rad.
And that's like one of the biggest selling points for me personally, is like knowing that these people get to spend 5 days learning and hanging out with Bartle is worth its weight in gold. So
yeah, hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think both of those experiences.
When is that one happening?
That one is in August.
Okay, and that's here in Colorado as well?
Both of those are here in Colorado.
Okay,
just about an hour and a half west of Colorado Springs, so not far.
Yeah,
pretty easy to get to, and from here you can just go Conifer and go south that way.
Nice.
So those are a couple of the courses. We also have a 3-day base camp skills course. We offer one of those per year. That one's more just at a mountain camp and focused on learning skills. So that's really good for backpackers, people who just want the knowledge and are not necessarily looking for the experience. They just want to learn how to make fire. They want to learn how to identify plants, learn how to make shelter. That would be another alternative.
Super rad.
So
is Instagram the one-stop shop to find out and track all of this, or you have a website?
So Instagram is the best place to find me. Those links for the courses will take you to the survivaluniversity.com, which is my business partners, and that's where you sign up to the courses through the Survival University.
We'll have live links to all of the stuff that we talked about too in the show notes right now. So if you're listening, all you have to do, if you've listened to the podcast before, open the show notes wherever you're listening or watching, and we'll have a link to Ryan's Instagram. If that's not easy enough for you and you feel like typing letters into your Instagram to find it, it's at ryan.quinn.maguire.
Yeah.
To find you.
You can just DM me. I will answer. I'll always try to get back to all the DMs. Just DM me and we can chat.
That's rad.
I'm an open book, so.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for today, dude. We got to get you out of here.
Yeah, that was crazy. I didn't even realize. Yeah.
We're 2 hours and 20 minutes into this thing, or 2 hours and 15, something like that. Dude, thank you so much, man. Thanks for everything that you're doing. Good luck on the new adventures. Like, when you get back from Nicaragua and get all that figured out, let's just have you back, dude. Like,
let's do it.
You're welcome anytime. You're fucking right down the road, and yeah, we'll go do some shit together too on this next one.
Yeah, let's go shoot one of those fun episodes on the mountainside together.
Let's do it.
Do some crazy shit together.
Let's definitely do it.
All
right. Thanks, everybody, for listening.
Bye,
See ya.
guys. Much love.
Thanks for listening to the Mountainside Podcast. If you haven't had a chance to do this already, please take a moment, follow, like, subscribe, or rate on whatever platform you catch the Mountainside Podcast at. If you'd like some more information on upcoming episodes, safety tips, access to all of our affiliates, and all the badass discounts that we get here at the Mountainside Podcast, check out themountainsidepodcast.com.